Hey everybody, it's Coach Steve. I'm Heroic Coach and Training. And today, what are we talking about today? We are talking about Coach Steve's Heroic Handbook for Life. Top 10 big ideas for cultivating optimal living. But my favorite number is 11, so we are going to have a top 11 big ideas for cultivating optimal living. Of course we are, right? 11. Yeah, I've liked 11 since I was a kid. So let's make it 11. All right, so number one, big idea. Number one is lean into your strengths. We often dismiss our greatness. Do we know our strengths? Can you figure it out? Use those strengths to be a superhero? Yes, you can. If you don't know what they are right off the top of your head, go to viacharacter.org and find them out. Find out what your top 5 are. I'm going to share my top 5. And what I use to lean on in my own life when I started getting into a lull to get me out of that lull and onto a better path. Number one, for me, it's fairness, accepting others without bias. All right. Accepting others for who they are. And that falls under the love category when we talk about our heroic compass. Love of learning, gaining wisdom through curiosity, increasing my knowledge base so I can help others. Right. Wisdom. That's our heroic virtue compass. For love of learning, forgiveness, be strict with yourself and lenient with others. That may be my favorite quote of all time. That demonstrates my self-mastery or my ability to do self-mastery. Curiosity, taking interest in others, exploring, discovering, just being curious about the world. All right, my number 5 is humor. Bringing joy to others, seeing the lighter side of things. I don't necessarily make jokes up, but I like to get people to laugh. Be a little bit witty. In order to do that, you really have to have a lot of background and be a master of yourself to feel confidence to do that. All right, part 2 of that is the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science, and they have settled on these heroic virtues. And we have these in our heroic virtue compass. Wisdom, know the game you're playing and how to play it well. Courage, willing to act in the presence of fear. Self-mastery, committed to playing the game well today. Love, being present, kind, loving, encouraging, generous. Hope, my favorites, optimistic, and do what it takes to reach your goals. Zest, live radiantly and give the world all that you got. Curiosity, what's working, what's not working, and how can we change those things to make them more optimal. And the last thing on our virtue compass is gratitude. Just appreciate everything. I'll get more into that later. So number 2, actually that's 4. Number 2. So we're going to go into self-compassion next. These aren't in any particular order, but they're the order that I'm going to talk about them today. So self-compassion involves getting into the weeds about loving yourself. All right. There's 3 main elements of self-compassion. We learned this from Christine Neff. Let's talk about self-kindness instead of self-judgment. Understanding that we're going to suffer. We're not perfect. We're going to fail at things, but accepting those things that happen, accept them as reality, have a greater emotional control when those things happen, and not self-loathe as a result of any of these things that could happen. Second thing she mentions is common humanity instead of isolation. So understanding that we're not the first person that this suffering that have suffered this particular suffering. We're not the only person in this world, and we're not going to be the last person in the world that suffers in similar ways. Maybe not exactly the same, but in similar ways. So common humanity, we are not an island. All right, there's many people that have the same things happen to them. So no need to isolate. Probably more people than you think have gone through similar things. And then the third part is mindfulness over over identification. So being mindful that things are going to happen, trying to take the judgment out of it, recognize that they exist, allowing these things to happen and settle in your mind, investigate the reasons why you feel the way that you do about things, and then nurturing and compartmentalizing those feelings so you're more able to deal with those when they arise again in the future. So Tara Brach's book, Radical Compassion, talks about the RAIN technique, recognizing, allowing, investigating, and nurturing those feelings. So that's the wisdom I've gained from Tara's book. Pretty amazing stuff. Number 3, practice love every day. Love is one of my favorite concepts in this program. I try to do each one of these types of love every day. Hopefully the people that I encounter every day have seen these types of love, although they're probably like, this guy's crazy. But let's talk about those for a minute. The first part of that is self-love. For me, I feel like if you can't love yourself, it's going to be very hard to give all of these other types of love to the people that are around you and in the world. So we've got to love ourselves, and we'll talk more about that later. 1.0, traditional love, our love for our spouses, kids, owners, the unconditional love of animals have for their owners, their friends, loved ones. All of those things are a traditional sense of love 1.0. That one for most of us pretty easy. Number 2, I love to do, and I love to surprise people on this one. This is micro moments of positivity. These are those random moments where you just say hi to somebody. I like to read the cashier's name and then ask them how they're doing by name. That's kind of cool. Kind of catches them off guard a little bit. That's good. It's good to be a good person all the time, eh? Love 3.0 is encouragement. Everybody needs a different dose of encouragement. Some people don't like to be overly encouraged to do things that they can do or to be better, right? And having the knowledge of those people and what they need to actually do what they want to do and encourage them just the right amount is a special gift. Love 8.0 is the love of work. And finally, I found the work that I love to do, which is coaching. What's yours? Infinity 0.0 is just the love for everything. All right, number four, heroic. Number 4 is play. To me, play are those times when you're not really thinking about anything else. You're just thinking about what you're doing. So that could be a game that you like to play. That could be, playing cards or a board game. Anytime you're really focused on the hand and you're really not thinking about any of those other things. The second part of that, for me, is the nature connection. Our species has been outside for 99.999% of our existence. We've gotten away from that. For me, I like to bird watch. That's my playtime. And when I am bird watching, I'm outside, obviously, and I feel as close to a higher power as any other place that I've ever been, right? I'm laser focused on the task. Appreciating everything that I see. Some other things that I've done in the past that involve nature is running. Running outdoors is another one. I like to hike, and I probably like to do all these things because I'm very connected to the environment and nature. Let's save it. Please, let's save it. All right, next part. Do you struggle with that? What did you do as a kid? What did you really love to do? Can you replicate that in your life now? Maybe it's riding a bike. Maybe it's playing basketball. That's what I like to do. Maybe it's running. When I got a little bit older, ultimate frisbee was my thing. That's when I was totally engrossed in the activity and I wasn't really thinking about any of the other problems that I had. So these are the moments when you're blissfully unaware of anything else. Let's play. All right, number five. Number five, almost halfway of my optimal, how to live optimally, Coach Steve's heroic playbook is AM and PM bookends. Really didn't think about this too much until I really put it into place. Most people, I think, neglect having a routine at the end of the day and then in the morning. But it's really vital. It's crazy how vital it's been. So, as Brian says, every good day starts with what you do the day before. So we'll talk about the PM bookend first. So what's your PM routine? So I want to really go way back in the day and say my first part of my PM bookend is to stop caffeine by 12 o'clock. Usually I'm done with caffeine by 6 a.m., but definitely by 12, that is an algorithms. 12 o'clock hits, no caffeine. Stop eating 3 hours before bed so my body can do the magic while I'm sleeping. Stop high cognitive tasks 2 hours before bed. So no real stressful thinking 2 hours before bed. Digital sunset 1 hour before bed, at least, just so you're not exposed to that blue light. And then every night, just about every night, I do meditative breathing with a tool called Inner Balance. And that really calms my vagal nerve. And I'll talk more about this later and gets me prepared for sleep, kind of empties my brain up. I'm only thinking about, breathing, not anything that happened during the day. So when I go to sleep, I get good sleep. All right, then we chase into the AM bookend. What's my AM routine? It's a little shorter, but it's morning coffee with the one I love. Love 1.0 right off the bat. I get my +1 in it, my daily dose of heroic wisdom. I read my daily Stoic, which is my Stoic wisdom for the day. And then I start on the exercise routine. That's different every day. Depends on what class is going on at the gym, or whether I'm teaching class myself, or I'm just doing burpees, or I just take an AM walk or go for a run, whatever it is. That gets me started off on a good day. What's yours? All right, number 6. Whoops, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. I can count. That's good news. All right, so number 6 is habit installation and deletion. All right, or habit change. All right, health coaches are habit change ninjas. So getting people to think about different ways to change their habit. So James Clear in Atomic Habits talks about latching a new habit onto an existing habit. So what can I do to make better habits? So for instance, I'm not doing this one now, but I would make coffee and do squats while I'm doing coffee. While I'm getting the coffee ready. Doing coffee, that sounds weird. Deletion of a habit. So in deletion, just make it very hard for you to execute that particular habit. My number one deletion habit is the desk scrolling on the phone. So what could I do? Put my phone out of reach. Set a timer when I can check that stupid thing. Schedule a time to visit my phone. Sounds kind of weird, but definitely is something to think about. All right. BJ Fogg, Tiny Habits, talks about the ABC of behavior change. All right. What's your anchor? The action that triggers the behavior beat and then celebrate that victory once you do that thing. Maybe that celebration is that's like me, like Brian says. That's like me. I did 70 burpees today. That's like me. Tomorrow I'm going to do 71. That's like me. I need to say that more. All right. Next part of that is having an accountability partner for tracking. So the best way to string wins together, not wings, birds, get it? Is to keep a log of the installation and deletion in a journal or check sheet or wherever you can track things. So I have my Carpe Weekam journal that I use every day to keep track of those things, whether it's steps or times I scrolled or whatever. So we're having an accountability partner to say, hey, how many times did you scroll today? Oh, that was awesome. Oh, that needs work. All right. Whatever. All right. Number 6 is done. Number 7. Number 7, I can probably talk about for 4 or 5 days, but I'm going to distill it into a few minutes here. So the funnies: eat, move, and sleep. I love the analogy, or not analogy, but thinking about eating like your favorite philosopher from a long time ago. So thinking about like Marcus Aurelius, what did he eat? I really have to give that some deep thought. I wonder if he wrote something down about that in one of his journals. That's more to come, eh? Um, who do you value food information from, and how are you going to make that feel to be your optimal self? All right, move. Part 2, number 7. Move like your life depends on it. Why do I train? I train because, well, there's several reasons, but I like to use this one the most. I want to be able to do just about anything anybody asks me to do, and then be able to choose to say yes or no. For instance, if my son said, hey, let's go hike the Appalachian Trail, and I had time, I could say yes. I could choose to say no, but in my mind, I know I can say yes. All right, sleep. Sleep. I like this one because sleep like it's your job. I've kind of made it my job for the same bedtime and awake time in the morning. I always thought 7 hours was the best for me. I would tell people that until I actually tried 8 and did my experiment on myself. Now 8 seems to be the magic number. I seem to be pretty much alive all day with 8. Whoop, whoop. All right, speaking of 8, we're moving down to number 8 in my heroic handbook, and that's breathe and meditate. I never used to really think of that this was very important until I actually saw it in action and did it myself. Brian talks about that our ancient ancestors had a fraction of a percent of stimulation that we have in one day in their whole lives. That's crazy. So no wonder why we need to calm our vagal nerve, get into a parasympathetic state, because we're always in fight and flight mode all the time. If we're in fight or flight mode all the time, our body doesn't get a chance to repair itself. So taking the time to breathe and meditate, super important. So I like to do 2 different types of breathing. One's rhythmic, just like 4 in, 4 out, same in, same out, or box breathing, some of you might be familiar with, or 2x breathing. So that's breathing in, let's say for 4 seconds, and then breathing out for 8, in for 4, out for 8, in for 3, out for 6. All right. So doing that breathing pattern over and over again. And for me, I do that at night right before I go to bed to get me ready for sleep. All right. And then stacking, this kind of like just fell into this particular section, but stacking my breathing and my meditation together at the end of the day gets me into a good mindset for sleep. Um, Emily Fletcher has some amazing words on breathing and meditation. She says thoughts are not the enemy. The mind thinks involuntarily, just like the heart beats involuntarily, which is kind of epic. But if you think about it, it's hard to turn your mind off. I hear people say all the time, I can't turn my mind off. Well, that's just how things work, right? So she also mentions that, if you have thoughts during meditation, those are a chance for those thoughts to leave your body and stress leaving the body. So I thought that's pretty profound as well. And she also mentions deep meditation maybe no better than a shallow meditation. All right, that's the end of number 8. Number 9 is don't forget to take life's secret medicine. So, what is the secret medicine, you may ask? Gratitude and hope. So, research says that it's almost impossible to think about negative thoughts when you're practicing gratitude. All right, so let's practice gratitude more. Get out of the negative thinking and be more, not necessarily be more positive, but be grateful for the things that we do have. All right, there's some caveats to this gratitude thing. So also think about who are you grateful for and why. And then if you want to go out on a limb, and I've done this with some crazy results, tell those people why you're grateful for them and why. What for me, I've been trying to be grateful for something in my energy, work, and love. All right. So energy, I went to spin class today. I was able to spin for an hour. I'm grateful for a body that I can actually do that. Work, grateful that somebody made this machine so I could actually do work. Love, I'm grateful for my mom. She read over my heroic handbook and said she was a little bit teary-eyed, and that warms my heart. That's love 1.0. I appreciate that, and I told her that today. All right, hope. Second part of the secret medicine is to have hope, because without hope, we're destined for depression, anxiety, and certainly dark days will follow if you don't have any hope. So Rick Snyder, the psychology of hope, talks about goals, agency, and pathways. So start with a clear goal in mind, the belief that you can make a change, which is self-efficacy, and pathways. So pathways, plural, because there's always obstacles that are going to come up, and how are you going to be able to deal with those obstacles? This is a good chance to whoop it up, but that's for another day. So for me, hope generates optimism to forge ahead on studying, love of learning, helping people, reaching out, being generous, all of those things. For me, tomorrow's going to be better. Next week's going to be better. Next month's going to be better. Let's go. We can do this. All right, we're starting to get down to the bottom of the list here. Number 10. Number 10 in my handbook is to know that I am and you are an experience of one. Nietzsche says, this might be changed a little bit way, there is no the way, but you need to figure out what is your way. All right, that's kind of crazy, right? So what does that mean? That means, how I eat might not necessarily be the exact formula for you to live optimally. Being an experiment of one, which is number 10, is to focus on the process, not the goal. A lot of times we can't control the results, but we can control the process to get to the end goal. Like if we talk about football, players can control what they do on the field, and their teams can follow the process that they've been taught, but maybe they fall short of the Super Bowl. Happens, right? Life is an experiment. No two humans are the same. So, in respect to the fundies, eat, move, sleep, breathe, focus, celebrate, prosper, they're going to be different for everybody. So, think about those things and how they're best for you. Then, number 11, our bonus in Steve's heroic handbook, 10/11 ways to help me live optimally is, you ready for this? Know those people that have contributed to make you who you are. All right. It is important for us to also have heroic guides, buddies, students, clients, followers, whatever you want to group that last group as. We all need mentors, guides, people whose virtues can be treated as teachers. So the number one heroic guide that you have is your daimon, yourself. You know, what is your head telling you to do? All right. Usually it's pretty good. For me, there's a bunch of Stoic guides as well. So listening to that ancient wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. I think I have one of each of their books sitting over here. What did they have to say? It's crazy, like some of the things they said that totally pertains now, 2,000 years later. And I really like one of my other Stoic guys is Ryan Holiday, just because I feel like he distills what these guys say into modern life. So I think that's kind of cool how he kind of blends that into a package that relates to everybody, basically. My heroic guides that I've been with through this whole process, Brian, Michael, and Alexandria. I don't think they probably know me, but I appreciate all of their wisdom and guidance they've given me through this, and I'm sure will continue to do. And then my health coach guides, Aaron is one of those. The second part of this is having heroic buddies and just buddies in general. For me, my heroic buddy Logan, who happens to be in Japan, has really been helpful in this whole process. It's helped keep me accountable and keep me going throughout this whole thing. I truly appreciate everything that he has done, whether he realizes or not, to help me get to this point in the heroic coaching program. I also have many other health coach related buddies. People I really feel are cream of the crop of health and wellness. I'm sure that all of them are flying under the radar and are capable and are going to do, amazing things in the future. And I really appreciate their wisdom. And then for me, the last part of this bonus round, number 11, is the students, clients, the people that are willing to think a different way that I come in contact with. I've seen tremendous growth in the people that I've been honored to coach throughout the last, yikes, 7 years. That's crazy. And I hope that they have seen my extreme love and kindness, and they have really inspired me and my hope in humanity, for humanity. Hopefully we can save this place. And the second thing that students, clients, just people in general do for me is to keep me sharp, make me continue to increase my wisdom and self-mastery so I can continue to serve those people that have gotten me here, that'll help me get to other places, that'll come with me at these places, or that I can help as I move through this journey. All right. I appreciate all of you listening to all this babble, but this is my heroic handbook, Coach Steve's heroic handbook. I'm sorry it was more than 10, but in true form, I had to do it in 11. Let's all be heroic. It's day one, all in. Let's go.